welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having an amazing day. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you found us. I'm Lisa. Today we are talking black and white photographs, die cuts, stickers, and how to add color to them. So let's get into it. Okay, today we are talking black and white photographs, black and white die cuts, if you have black and white stickers. We're also talking these cards that Tim Holtz made. They're called Found Relatives. You have the big ones like this. You have the little individual people. You can use any of those. So I guess first let's start with, why would you even use photographs of somebody else's family? I get that a lot from beginners. And, you know, it's a great question. And when I first started, I didn't know why I was getting, black and white photos in Happy Mail, or why I was buying a pack of somebody else's relatives at an estate sale. But what they do is they add an unexpected interest. They add a texture. They add a pop, okay, to your journals, if they're appropriate in the journal. So that's why we use other people's relatives. Now, that's the same reason too. I don't know if you know, but all of Tim Holtz Found Relatives are just photos that he bought at estate sales and commercialized them. That's all they are. Same thing. Okay? Except these you pay like $6 for a pack of, 24, and this you pay 50 cents for a bag of 200. That's the only difference. Okay, so once you figure out if the black and white photo or which die cuts go in your journal. Well, I always do mine by subject. And that's how you put anything in your journal, right? Is by subject matter, what your journal is about. So your photos kind of go along that same thing too, even though you might not find photos that match your exact subject. Like if you had one about travel, you would probably choose this one because these ladies are clearly, let's see if I can get it clear. There we go. These ladies are clearly going on a trip. You see their suitcase and they're all dressed. So they are going on a trip. So they would go into travel. They might go in a Mother's Day one or celebrating women. They might go in vintage fashion. Okay, so there's multiple uses. This guy obviously could go in a Father's Day journal. He could go into a parenting journal. He could go into a style fashion journal for men of the time period. He could go in a travel one. Why? Because the baby obviously is ready to go somewhere. So you just look at your photo and you see, will it fit your journal? And I have a journal. I pulled a journal out that I'm not using yet, but I got in a swap and I will use it. I actually love it. It's a summer journal, and I actually filled it full of all my summer ephemera that I had. So when I go to use it, I have everything in one spot to make my own journaling cards and everything. But I don't have any black and white photos. And I pulled what I had left of the photos I have, and it's these right here. And the one that really goes is my lady here, and she is in a desert, it looks like. And I don't know if you know, but California, there's a lot of desert right up to the beach. So I think she's perfect. It's a sunny day. You can tell it's summer. And I think she'll just go great in my summer journal. So this is the one I'm going to use. Also, I thought I would look at my die cuts. And I found a black and white car. I found a dirigible. This. And I found a biplane. And at the beach where I live, the biplanes are always flying over on weekends or busy holidays with their banners streaming behind them. So I thought this would be a fun one to include in my summer journal as well. Okay, and also you could, like I said, go through Tim Holtz Found Relatives and see what you have in here. However, there's nothing in here that goes in my journal, so it's fine. So these are the two that I'm going to use in my summer journal. Now, these are the only two I have of this. So if I wanted to use these maybe in another journal, if I use them in mine, I wouldn't have them. So what I'm going to do, because the journal is just for me, is I'm going to make quick copies of these and colorize the copies, okay? Now, you can colorize the originals, and I will go through colorizing both in just a minute. But before I do that, because these are going in my personal journal, and I want to have these for other journals, I'm going to make a quick copy. Okay, so now I know what I'm going to use and how I'm going to use them. Let's talk about colorizing the originals first, okay? Because most of us would colorize the originals. Well, I don't know if you can see. I know you can see it on the photo. There is a shiny surface. And there's also a shiny surface or a coating on the die cut as well. So if I went to colorize these either with my markers or my paints, they wouldn't stick. Okay, the paint would dry and peel off, and the markers would just rub off. And same thing with my watercolor pencils. They would all just rub off because of the shiny coating. So one thing you can do to be able to paint or watercolor or marker on your originals is to get some clear gesso and take it and put it on the part of the photo or the part of the die cut or the part of the sticker that you want to colorize. So let's talk about that. What part of this should I colorize? Now, naturally, everybody's going to jump and say, let's colorize her outfit, right? Well, the theme of my journal isn't fashion. The theme of my journal is summer, and you can obviously tell the sky is light and bright. There's some clouds, but you can tell by the coloration in this photo that's a bright, sunny day. So what I think I'm going to do is all those clouds in the background, I'm going to colorize yellow, because that talks to my journal of summer. That talks to the photo. It looks hot there. She's in the desert. It's summer. So I'm going to do all the clouds yellow. So since I know what I'm going to colorize, I'm going to take my clear gesso. If I was going to use the original, I would take my clear gesso, dip my paintbrush in, and then come in and wherever there's a cloud, put some clear gesso. And then when the gesso dries, it is going to sound like that on my picture, okay? Right now, it sounds like that. But after the gesso dries, it'll sound like that because the gesso will give it some grit, some tooth. So when I paint it, the yellow, or when I marker it, the yellow, or map color it, the yellow will have something to hold on to and it won't come off. Same thing with my biplane. What I would do on here is do all around the biplane with just clear gesso. Once the clear gesso dries, I would go in with my blue paints or my blue markers or map colors or whatever, because I'm coloring the sky. Again, I picked what around the plane emphasizes my journal that it's going in, which is summer. Okay, so that's what you do. When you pick a photo, you pick, one, a photo that talks to your journal. Then two, you pick what you're going to colorize on that photo, what goes with your journal, and then the color as well. Color is important too. I picked yellow and blue because obviously those are the colors of my summer journal. That when I see those colors in this journal, I know summer. Okay, and that's great. But what if you wanted to put let's say your journal was yellow and orange, okay? And you wanted to put colors, but you didn't want to use yellow and orange. So you're thinking you would use green and red. Okay, well, green and red they're very close to yellow and orange, right? Because there's yellow, there's green, there's orange, there's red. They're very close. So you want this to stand out by putting colors that are close to all the other colors in your journal. This isn't going to stand out. So how do you make it stand out? You would put colors opposite your color on the color wheel. So I strongly suggest getting a color wheel. Because yellow, you could put purple to make it pop, and orange is blue. Okay, so you would put purple and blue on your photo, whatever it is, in the area that you want. Say you're doing fashion and you're going to put yellow and purple on this wedding dress to make a point of how crazy colors are now versus then. Okay, you put this is going to pop. You're going to see, one, the colors that complement the colors all through your journal. They're not blending in, they're popping out because they're complementary. 2, they're on what your journal is about, which is fashion. So this whole card is going to stand out. And that is the same with my little biplane and my little girl with her clouds. Okay, so I'm going to get my copy I just made, because this is a great way if you don't want to get rid of your originals yet, is to make a copy of them. Especially if it's for your journal, or if it's old photos, you can put copies of old photos. So what I did was I cut her out. Now I'm going to take my marker, my yellow Echo Line markers, because these ended up being actually some pretty good markers. And I did not like these things, but these actually ended up being pretty good. And I'm going to put my girl, the clouds are up here, and I'm just going to go, okay. So there. Now that makes you think hot and summer, right? So that is one way to do it. Now I'm going to do my biplane too. I'm just going to cut him out. Now die cuts really, you couldn't use the copies because you only have a one right use to them. But if it's for your personal journal like mine is, it's fine. And just be sure and save the extra copy paper that you didn't use so you can, use the plain white as backing for journaling cards or whatnot. Okay, this time I'm going to use a map color. Get a blue map color out. Okay, and I'm just going to color around the edge because I want the blue sky to pop out. And by putting the blue around, it pops more than the black and white did. Can always leave things black and white, but if it needs a little color, if you want to make it pop to tie in more with whatever your theme of your journal is, then adding color is definitely the way to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video on adding color to photos, how to pick the photos to use, and what to do if your photo is too slick to color. So take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.